The Grow My Cleaning Company podcast helps owners of cleaning companies just like you to grow your company and yourself so you can make more money and finally get the time and money freedom that probably got you into this business. Discover how to automate and create systems that allow you to grow like crazy without losing control. If you dig the show and want to show some love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. It really helps. Enjoy the show.
What's up, Cleaning Nation? Lindsay back here with Callum. He is our newest member on the team. So excited to have you. This is our first podcast together.
It is our first podcast,
I'm excited. Yeah. It's great to see him in person. You can tell by his accent, he is not from America. He came all the way from where in England?
Near London.
Near London? Yeah, to come see us in Orlando. And so, yeah, this is a special episode that we probably won't get to do a lot in person. Yeah. So, anyhow, what we wanted to talk about today is I grabbed you, Callum, because you had a great talk about messaging for our clients and how did you phrase it? Their messaging doesn't line up across different platforms.
Yeah.
Can you better explain what?
So what we're talking about is message matching, right? So matching is really simple. It's I show you one thing, I show you another thing. Do they give me the same impression?
Right.
So in the same way that, imagine outside a store, it said everything was going to be $1. You think, oh, everything in the store must be $1. But then you walk inside and it says $2 or $3. It doesn't match. So you're unlikely to spend time in the store to respect them, to think they're credible, because it doesn't match up. So it's the exact same with like any ads or messaging, either online or in person, like posters that you're putting out about your business. Does it reflect the core values of your business and what you actually offer, both kind of literally and also kind of the feeling that you give? So if you are a really friendly, reliable service, which most people will have because that's a good business, make sure in your marketing you're telling people that you are a friendly, reliable, great service, not that you're kind of like a robotic kind of, no friendly face kind of thing.
Yeah, we were chatting earlier and you mentioned that I think you said like a common mistake you see is that people, like their actual business, how they show up at clients' homes and stuff is like super friendly and laid back, but then you'll go to their website and it'll be like super corporate.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the biggest problems, right? Because everyone thinks my website needs to be super professional. And when I say that it's not to be unprofessional, you still want to make sure everything's grammatically correct, it's laid out correct, all that sort of thing. But express who you are in your business. So if you only hire, say you've got 10, 15 employees and you want to hire people that align with your core values, they're really friendly, nice, they're respectable, they do a great job, they're hardworking, you want to demonstrate that that's the kind of business that you are. So don't have an ad out there that says, hey, we're super friendly, I can't wait to work with you, I'm just going to give you a really informal quick call. Yeah. But then they come to book the call and it says, this will be a 30-minute call on Zoom and you will be, you must sit in silence while I tell you the price. You've got to try and make sure that you're reflecting how you want to be. So for some people in more commercial industry, they might actually want, in like a janitorial service, might want to seem way more professional and corporate, especially if you work with kind of like really big businesses for big contracts. So your ad might be a bit more formalized, and you're talking more about maybe your insurance and your compliance rather than selling yourself as an individual. Whereas most residential people, if you're letting someone inside your home, you want to trust the person, trust their business, trust that they're going to hire the right people to do the work. So you need to demonstrate some personality and make sure that you have some synergy between what your ad is and the message and the impression that you give and what you're giving on your website or any other sort of information.
Perfect. I guess, can you give an example without naming names of like a client? I know you've worked with some clients where you saw like inconsistencies and like one person comes to mind that made a video for her website. Was that part of the process?
Exactly that.
Okay.
So
yeah, tell us about her without mentioning her name.
Yeah, so what we found was that in a lot of the ads we're putting out, we're trying to, so this is a residential cleaning business, you're trying to speak to the issues that people have out there, right? So like, what are you struggling with? Is it that you're too embarrassed to have guests over to your house because you think it's not clean enough? Is it that you have a dog that you love but it gets hair everywhere? Whatever the specific problem is. And we were trying to reach out with that problem by using different images, different text and things that we can. And we're really struggling with kind of getting across that we really understood the problem and demonstrating that, like, trust me, we're one of you. Like, we have a dog at home, we have children, we have all of these things. So we decided, hang on a minute, why don't we just use your personality if you are that person and you know the message and you know what you want to do? Let's just record you telling people, look, hey, I understand this issue. It's me. You're going to come over and speak to me about this. I'm a friendly face. You've seen who I am. You've seen how I sound.
Yeah.
And suddenly it, completely changed everything. We got way more people clicking through to the website. We got way more people booking a call because they felt way more at ease and more comfortable with, actually, this person really seems like they understand my issue. I'm fine to speak to them about it.
She has a really charming, sweet personality, and it's like, let's use that to our advantage.
Yeah. And anyone can do it. It's not a case of you don't need to think like, oh, well, I'm not comfortable making videos. It might take you a few times, but it's literally 30 seconds. And if you do know who your client is, and you can kind of go to your existing clients if you have them and just work out, what is their problem like? Why do they like me? Why do they hire my service? And you can use that to just say, turn the camera on and say, hey, look, I know you're struggling with this. I know this is an issue. Don't worry, everyone faces it. You're not alone. This is why I've created this service. It helps you. It does blah, blah, blah. What you need to do is just click here, click on the website. You can book a little 15-minute call with me. I'm going to chat to you, see if it might be a good fit, see if I can help you. And if I can, it could be really good. And just by reflecting your personality, and then because you're not being fake, you're being yourself. When they come onto the call, it can also aid your sales process because you've already got your foot in the door, and they've seen you, and you've already checked a mark to say like, well, they must like who I am. They're not going to hate me when they come onto the call, So I think it might make conversations around price and things a lot easier as well. So yeah, video and things like that is just one example of what you can use. It's not always appropriate in every situation, but just making sure that anything you put out is speaking to exactly what your business is. Don't try and be something that your business isn't because you think it's the right thing to do. Because consistency is the key, right? Across the whole thing.
Yeah, I like to use our company, Grow My Cleaning Company, as an example, even though we're not a cleaning company. Like, we're super goofy. Like, our core values are have fun, make money, be real, and help out. Like, that so fast. But like at our event, we have these goofy t-shirts that we're wearing. If you go to our website, you have to just pause this and go to growmycleaningcompany.com and actually read, it looks like Mike was on Forbes or something, but not featured on Forbes. That's how we are in real life. We're super consistent. I like that Mike didn't make his website super stuffy, I coach cleaning companies.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's very consistent. Our social media that we just kind of revamped is that same vein of just being kind of goofy but helping out. Even you made a good point with the video. When you do more videos on your website, on social media, it makes you a human. We've had a few clients that have come to me and been like, oh, I've heard you on the podcast, I feel like I already know you. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh.
But what would be crazy, right, is imagine that, you have the website, Grow My Cleaning Company, you're getting a certain impression and then you book a call with Mike to chat to him. And imagine if he's super not friendly, serious, it's all just about numbers and money and this is what we do, we get results, we do this. You'd be thinking, well, this isn't the reason why I clicked through.
Right.
I'm not saying that's not a good way to be. Some people might want someone that's really serious, but the people that are coming through that funnel and that are clicking through from the site are the type of person that have aligned with the values that you're representing there. So keeping them consistent throughout is really important, and that's the only way that you'll build lasting relationships with a client. To have, if you do monthly cleans, to have them for 5 years because they like you as a person, they respect the service that you create, and you match up as people. Which there's a group of people out there that you will really get along with. For some people it might be thousands of people, for some people it'll be hundreds of people, right? It's just about making sure that you're targeting those right people, not just kind of putting a generic message out hoping that everyone likes you. It's much better for one really small sector of people to love you than it is to try and make everyone like you in your business, right?
That's such a good point. That's a good point, just across the board in all aspects of business, because I'm sure there's people out there hearing your advice and they might be like, well, people might not want to click on the site if I'm just my goofy self. But what about the fear of turning people away? Should we really be scared about turning people away? Is it that much?
No, you want it, as long as everything is appropriate, right? So you need to remember that ultimately you are selling a service, you are trying to build a business, you're trying to win people over. That marketing is just persuading people, right?
Right.
The closer you can be to, let's call it the truth, who you actually are, the better, because you don't have to then think about it. You're just doing things that come naturally to you. So you're speaking the way that you're speaking, rather than using words that you think, oh, people prefer it if I speak like this. It's just speak the way that you speak.
Yes,
because you're going to get found out eventually, right? Because they're going to jump on the discovery call with you. You're going to book a free consultation call, and then you're going to speak to them, and you're either going to have to try and keep up an act where you act like, or I've got this massive business and we're corporate and we do this, or you can be yourself, and either way they're going to be able to find out, right? So I guess as long as everything you're doing is suitable for the industry and what you're selling, and you're reflecting the values that you think your business has, so in a lot of cases it'll being reliable, being trustworthy, just being honest and transparent with people is what people are looking for, then I don't think you can really go wrong with turning people away. And rather than seeing it as like potential customers that got turned away, you have to see it as they're not the customers that I want anyway.
That's such
you
good
don't want
advice.
people that are always going to be on your case and saying like, hey, can you do it like this? It's like, well, that's not actually how we do things. We do it this way. And if you don't like it, I'm sure someone else can do it your way. That's absolutely fine. But like, we're only interested in getting people that can do it like this, So yeah, I mean, the harsh reality of all marketing, especially the stuff I do with like Google and Facebook, is more people will say no than say yes. So as soon as you accept that reality, because if everyone said yeah, well, I wouldn't be here, I'd be I'd be like Richard Branson right now.
Yeah.
If more people said yes than said no, because you could put it out to 1,000 people. From that 1,000 people, you might get 1 or 2 customers. You're not going to get 999 customers. So as soon as you accept that, like, most people are going to see this and either scroll past it or think, yeah, not for me. As soon as you accept that reality and understand, will that bother me? No, not really. It's not like they leave a note and say, hey, I hated this, or
It's true.
They just scroll past and it's just a number. It's irrelevant. So if you focus on the people that did enjoy it, find out what did they like about it, what can I do better for next time, and then you gradually can build it and scale it.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna go on a little tangent.
Go ahead.
We got time.
Yeah.
Because you just have so many good tips in this whole event, and so you saying, just ask people what you liked.
Yeah.
I heard you say to one of our clients, or maybe it was in your talk, you said something to the effect of, ask someone to search for the cleaning service. Like, can you talk a little more about that exercise?
I always recommend this. So one of the biggest pitfalls in any kind of business when you're marketing is you think, oh, I know what my customer wants. So I'll put myself in their shoes. What do they want? And to some extent you can do that, right? But the only true way to find out what your ideal customer does want is to be able to ask them. The problem is, until you have a relationship with people, aka they're paying you for the service, you can't just ask them, what would they search? So it's about using people that already do pay you for a service, or they're very similar. So for example, if you're targeting, I don't know, so I've got 2 younger sisters, right? Let's say I'm targeting a product that is for 20-year-old girls, then if my sister's a 20-year-old girl, I can ask her and say like, hey, what would you and your friends search for? As an example. Yeah. But one tip is just take your phone, or ask the person to pull out their phone and just say, hey, Lindsay, if you're going to find a cleaning service that you want to start next month to clean your X size place or your commercial building, can you just find me a cleaner right now? And then just screen record it if you can, or just watch over their shoulder and just see what they type. And you'll be so surprised there'll be certain keywords that they type, or the way they type it, or the way that they select it from the drop down menu, or do they scroll to page 18 of Google, or do they just give up after one page? See what they do, and then you can adapt how you market to suit that exact person, right? So a great example is a lot of people leave out things like being insured if they have insurance, or people leave out the fact that they've been reviewed by over 100 people, because you just put cleaning service in blah 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 area, or and apartment cleans or whatever it is, but you might find that all of your peers are searching best rated cleaner in wherever, or insured cleaners in wherever. So you want to use those keywords, right? Because that's what your target market is searching for. So the more fact finding you can do, the more data you can collect from anywhere you can, the better. And then it's not a waste of time to then put it into practice. If it doesn't work, it's okay, we can cross that one off the list. We're one step closer to what does work.
And then would you kind of combine the 2 concepts we're talking about, what they're searching for, kind of with the messaging you already have, and just kind of meld it together?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, because you want to provide a service for people. Any business is a solution to a problem, right? So you're seeing the specific problem they're searching for, and you're finding out, and you're like, cool, if I match that problem, great. How do I match their messaging, therefore? So if I am insured and I am reliable, I am these things, how can I communicate to this person that I am those things, but how can I do it in their language, if that makes sense? So how can I use the terms that you're searching for and be able to do it that way? So yeah, it's a super interesting concept, and it's just such a trial and error thing. Nobody gets it right the first time, and even once things are working, there's always ways you can either make it cheaper or get more results or do things. So it's just constantly kind of fixing things, tweaking things, working things out. And technology is always updating. So soon, I'm sure I'll be speaking to everyone in a few months about changes Google are making to make it more visual. So the same way you have TikTok and everything that's all video and image related, Google's like the only thing out there where it's just text right now. And they're recognizing that in order to capture people's attention more, provide like a better service for people that are searching, they want to make it way more visual. So you're going to have like a company logo will always come up next to what your business name is.
Really?
So any images that you have associated with your Google account, these are all changes that they've said they're going to be rolling them out.
When you say Google account, this is a great tangent, by the way.
Yeah.
When you say Google account, do you mean Google? Is it Google My Business?
Yeah, Google My Business. So in your business profile, any like images you have of like previous employees or all those things right now are like not important unless somebody, because really when you're doing an ad, people just see what your service is, click to your website. That's the ideal thing. They don't go scouring all of your social media to look at everything you've got. But the way that Google is going to be updating is that any visual assets that you have within your business profile are going to be way more useful because it's going to start serving some image ads as well. So when you Google something, not only would you see all the little lines of text, occasionally you're going to be able to see like a image search ad, or you're going to have a sidebar that will pop up with an image. So that's where we'll have to, and it's a brand new change for me too, right? So I'll have to learn about like, okay, what do we think is going to work there? Is it a picture of the clean home? Is it a picture of the happy employees? Like what's going to work to be able to resonate with people? And that's going to be super interesting to learn.
That is going to be super interesting. So that makes it even more important to get your messaging tight now and ready and consistent, it seems like.
Understand who you are as a business owner and who you are as like, what is my business and, you know, what do I do? And as soon as you've nailed that down, you're not going to change it. So it's kind of like, it's just working out how can I communicate that with people that I am, you know, a mom and pop business. We only have 3 employees and we're really personalized service. We work in this tiny little town with barely any people, but we're the best at it. It might be one identity as a business. Another might be we serve a whole state and we do massive commercial properties. We sign multi-million-dollar contracts, and you know, there's a reason we do that. It's because we're super professional and we do this. That might be your business identity. There's not a right or wrong way.
Yeah, it's just you. Yeah,
exactly.
It's not right or wrong. I just wanted to go back to the watching someone type the keywords because I think that's so cool. My nerdy brain is already asking, is there an app or a website that you could send people a link to? Not that we're affiliated with anything.
In a sense of
like
seeing what people search.
Yeah. Have you ever seen anything like that?
I'm not sure. Like people can, if you know a person well and you're doing it as simple as we spoke about, like if I asked you to do it now, like I could just be like, look, I'm just going to record the screen, and you can ask them if you have that relationship. If you don't, and again, with cleaning businesses, it's something that's very individual relationship with the person that you're building. It's not like you're selling like a direct-to-consumer product where you're just selling like, oh, do you want to buy my shoes or t-shirts? But there is websites out there, and Google actually provide this service themselves. I'm sure it's called something like Google Search Console or Google, I don't know. I'd have to find out what it is.
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, but you can see the amount of times a thing has been searched within a certain area, right?
Okay.
So if you're trying to work out like, you know, so people do it all the time with like politicians, right? To find out who's like the most popular or the most sought after. And you'll find that for years it was like Donald Trump was the most searched thing on Google for a year.
Wow.
It's in the same way we could do it with like, okay, what do people search for with cleaning businesses? Is it that they're searching for monthly clean? Is it weekly clean? You can kind of see what the level of search terms are, and you might find that one of them is way higher than another. But the problem is you don't know who's searching them, right? So we want to go back to that thing of being super specific and only worrying about our people that are going to be our perfect prospects.
And what they're searching
if you could pick
for.
50 clients to work with where you have an amazing relationship, find out who those 50 people would search for. Don't worry about just, you know, following what everyone would do. Because I could go and search something now and I'm not the ideal customer for someone else's business.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. Jeez, you just blah. Like that was great. You just laid it down. I think you just gave Cleaning Nation a lot to think about. So I think we're going to cut it off there, man.
Yeah, let's
that was
do it.
great.
No, that was good. Straight to the point.
We just kind of like got together and were like, what are we going to talk about? Like,
and it sounds complicated. That's the thing. Everything, and people listening will be like, oh, it sounds so complicated. He said so many things, I don't know what they mean. But it's super simple, and like, you can Google it. That's the good thing.
You
can
Google
Google
it.
it. You can reach out to other people, and you can, and speaking to people that do similar things. And once you've mastered these sorts of things, you can sound like an expert, because not many people know what the words mean in Google Ads and Facebook and tracking and all this stuff.
Yeah.
As soon as you learn it and you've just got like, I know what that word means, you can then, people will view you as an expert, right? Like, we get way too much credit, people like me, that like know how to do things. So
yeah,
it seems super complicated, but it's really simple. But the one thing to take away is just think, what does my business actually do? And just nail down the identity of your business, how you want your business to come across. And if you're confused about how it does, ask people, what do you think about my business? How would you describe my business in 3 words? Or like, how would you describe my business compared to this business? And find out what impression you're giving people about your business. And if that impression that people have got is not the one that you want to project, you need to think how you can project your business differently. If it is, you're doing something right. So you're all good.
Dang, Callum, that was great, man.
Yeah,
all right. Well, I like that homework you gave. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll just leave it there. I can't end a podcast about Google and marketing any better than that. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much.
And Cleaning Nation, your homework from me is to go to our website, growmycleaningcompany.com, and just have a look around. See if you can catch our vibe of like our core values on there as an example, and it'll give you some ideas. Yeah. That's it. Until next time, we'll see ya. Bye.
Well, here we are at the end of the podcast, and you made it. Great job. I've got a little bonus for you for sticking through with me, but like I mentioned before, if you got value out of this podcast and you want to show a little love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening to this thing. Share with a friend, share the love. And as a special thank you for those of you that stuck with me to the end, how about I give you my personal phone number so we can text? It's a great way for me to get to know you, your business, your goals personally. So shoot me a text now, 602-932-6431. 602-932-6431. I am the only one who responds to these texts, and I will personally respond to everyone I possibly can as long as this number is manned. Don't know how long we're going to keep this at the end of the podcast, so grab it now. 602-932-6431. Give me a text, say hey, can't wait to meet you.